His loving light on me. I wanna take a long, long walk with Jesus. Let him shine his loving light on me. I wanna take a long walk with Jesus. Let him shine his light on me. I wanna take a long walk with Jesus, a long walk with Jesus.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as the case may be. It's so nice to see you. My name is Pete, and welcome to Having Coffee with the King. See, I don't have to tell you this, but I can't help. This isn't coffee today. I didn't make the coffee. Instead, it's like a Gatorade Frost, which is going to give me some zip, which I could use. So it's having Gatorade with the King. God bless the King and the Gatorade. Okay. Elvis once said when he saw it, looks like the Gator's already been in here. But, all right, we're trying some new things here with our little show. We're not sure we're reaching the amount of people that we want to. That could be something we're not doing quite right. I had a couple of Facebook posts, a couple years ago. We got close to 1,000, which was very exciting. We're struggling, and there must be a reason for that. We may not be producing it right, not producing it, but promoting it or putting it on the right way at the right time. I don't know. What would help would be if you could write me back and let me know if you're seeing it. That would help a whole lot on views. And the other thing that I would like to ask you to do, if you would be so kind, is to share it, because that's really the momentum and the reason for all of this. Is we're trying to share a joy and share the fun of visiting under the umbrella and the love of God Almighty and Jesus, and have it be a fun experience. I also want to start figuring out a way to get some of your comments, and so we can communicate a little bit. That would be fun. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you have to say about what I'm adding, and also get into a little more specific scripture. That's hard to say with dentures. Specific scriptures. That came out okay. Okay. Last week, I tried to talk a little bit. I'm almost dealing with it as though we're starting out from the beginning, because in some ways we are. We're trying to get to Facebook Live, and the people that have been kind enough to be my friends through the years that said they wanted to hear more of this energy from me, if you want to call it that. And there you go. What we tried to talk a little bit about last week was how it got started, how I kind of morphed from this Elvis guy, which you got to say I am. I'm an Elvis guy. I prefer that to Elvis impersonator, which was almost like an offhanded comment that the press threw on people that were paying tribute to Elvis. I mean, there's a difference between going on stage and doing a tribute to Sammy Davis or to Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley and wanting to be him. It's a subtle difference. You want to transform into the spirit and the essence of that person and give as much as you can, sing as much like him as you can. And if you have the capacity to be able to look and sound like him, that's wonderful. That's very exciting. And the clothes help, but it gets into a kind of a fine line. I'm looking at some of the young artists, and they are so good. I have a special friend named Logan Ramey, who's, I don't think Logan's 21 yet. I'm sorry, Logan. I'm going to have to find out how old you are. He's just the sweetest young man. I like him so much. And I'm really pulling for him that his dreams may come true. And I'm talking about every jumpsuit you can think of. He had a dragon. He's got a black one. I'm sure he's got a leather. And if he doesn't yet, he's going to get one. And I love all that. But if you will bear with me, I've been through all that. I've done this for 50 years. I've gone through every look you can imagine. And I've just hit a place in my time. I'm not 80 yet. I'm going to be soon. So I'd rather say I was 80, so by the time we get into everything with everybody, Pete's 80. Excuse me. But I'd rather pay tribute from where I stand as a man. He was a childhood inspiration. Can't say a hero because he wasn't a hero. I had heroes when I was younger. My hero was always my dad. And then Joe DiMaggio was my first one. Duke Snyder was my second. And Elvis was more of a leader than a hero, if that makes sense. I admired what he was doing. I thought that I could do it too. I wasn't the only one. John Lennon thought he could do it. Robert Plant thought he could do it. Cheers. My generation was infatuated with the guitar, the single singer, and what could come out of it. Real special guy. Oh, you're coming in. What do you got to say to me? Angelo wouldn't be here if he didn't think he had to come in.
Hi, Pete. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I wanted to say if anybody can join this party or if this was a party of one tonight.
No. I'm always happy when you chime in. What you got?
You're talking about your father. I've been remembering my father a lot today.
Oh, God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelo's dad just went to be with Jesus.
Yep, he sure did.
Yeah.
And he left me here to pick up the mess.
Well, good luck with that one.
You don't even know, brother.
Yeah, well, look around. It's a pretty big mess. If you can pick that one up, we need to elect you or something.
I'm telling you what. God bless me. Here's the coffee with the king.
Absolutely. Coffee with the... There's Gatorade with the king this morning for me.
Oh, yeah.
I
heard.
I drank it all up. My
wife.
wife...
What was that you were saying about Elvis and the Gators? What did Elvis say about the Gators?
He said the Gator. He looked at the Gatorade. It was green already. He said, "Oh, it looks like the Gator's already gotten mine." Yeah, Charlie. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So what are we talking about tonight?
Well, I was kind of refreshing last week and kind of explaining to our dear friends that we're kind of going through a format change, trying to find exactly the hookup that gets out and touches them, whether it's live Facebook or a StreamYard or I don't know what. We're not quite reaching the people like we should. We'll find our way.
Right.
Because this isn't our show. You know what I mean? This is not our show. And he'll help.
You know, I've always believed that, just keep on doing what you're doing. The message will get to the people that it needs to get to. And people will, word of mouth is always the best advertising. I always believe that anyway. You tell somebody and they tell
to a couple of people. We got to have a couple of people here to talk about it. That's all.
Well, we see. I don't know what we're not doing right here. I could tell you what we're doing on the other show, but that's a different kind of show.
Absolutely.
And our numbers are crazy on the other shows, but for some reason, and maybe it's a sign of the times, Pete. Maybe people are very skeptical of God's love, or maybe they don't believe there's a God. And I think, we live in very trying times anyway.
Yeah, we do. And those are exactly the people we wish we could reach.
Yes, and that's why we're here, hopefully. By the way, there's a very handsome young man behind me.
There is. I really like him. I'd like to know more about him.
The fact, two young men. Let me get out the way.
Yeah, you know what's so great? Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you what that is. There's a real fun app now. It's called newprofile.com. And somebody did a couple of pictures of mine, and I went to it and looked at it. And then one behind me, you know me, I love to play with Photoshop. I took a picture I did of Jesus. I took a picture of him. Then there was a picture of me, and I tried to put them together with Jesus on my shoulder. And I really like that. I made that my Facebook.
Let me get out the way here. Here you go. That's a really nice picture.
I just get such a kick. The picture of Jesus absolutely devastates my heart. There's something
beautiful.
I'd like to share something about that picture today, and that is the wonderful story of the young girl. Her first painting was Jesus, and her mom and dad were atheists, so it didn't come from that. And she painted this wonderful picture, And strangely enough, the fella she used as her model was a carpenter. You gotta love that. And a young boy who had died and come back. His dad was a pastor, and he said to his son, "Hey, come here, look at some pictures. I want you to." Because the boy said, "I saw Grandpa while I was in heaven." He said, "Really? Well, come here, let's take a look." He looked at all the pictures and he said, "No, that's not Grandpa." And then
Right.
in the bottom of the box, there was a picture of him in uniform as a young man, and he said, "That's Grandpa right there." Which, we've heard that before, and you probably have experienced that. On the other side, we are younger and more vibrant. So
Yeah.
he would have been the way the boy remembered his grandfather, would have been the way his grandfather was, in his
Yeah.
time, if you will.
You come across in a familiar light so
Yeah,
that you're recognizable to family. Even family, here's the interesting thing, even family who you don't know or who shouldn't know you will recognize you.
that's wonderful.
That's the beauty of heaven.
Yes, one of the many beauties. And then, but to go along with the story, she painted this picture of Jesus, and
Mhm.
and the dad said, "Come here, let's look at some pictures of Jesus and see if you tell me what he looks like." He sat in his dad's lap and he looked at all the classic Dutch paintings of Jesus as the young Caucasian with the kind of blondish hair, and she said, "He's no, none of these." And about 2 or 3 months later, he was walking by the computer. His dad was kind of surfing, and up pops his picture that the young girl did. And it's called, I think we've talked about it, it's called The Prince of Peace. And the kid
Yes.
lost it. He said, "Oh, that's him right there. Dad, that's Jesus." Well, that whole story touched my heart so much. And I am a frustrated artist. We're all artists of sorts. And I wanted to do a face of Jesus. So I took that upon myself. And the picture behind you is the picture that I was able to pull together. And it touched my heart because I felt like I just pushed a brush, Angelo. I just
Yeah.
pushed a brush. I had almost nothing to. I'm not that accurate or a clever an artist. I just am not. And when we hung it up, when my wife and I hung it up on the wall,
Right.
I started to weep just a little bit that it had gotten that far.
Right.
When I walk by it in the middle of the night, I have. We'll talk about this in the future too, but we have communion once a day. But many days I sneak out and grab another one. In the middle of the night, if I wake up, I'll go out and I use little oyster crackers. I'll have an oyster cracker and some
Right.
grape juice, and I'll stand in front of the picture and I'll just I'll share a vibe, you might say, with it. And I look at it as though his presence, his spirit was in my presence. And of course, his spirit is always in our presence. And I would like somehow, and I'll work on this, I would like to share that picture with the world. And I will be about that, see how to do that. And then something came to me because someone said, "You got to sign your pictures." I don't ever want to sign that picture. If you said, "Wow, Pete, I want that picture in my house," which would be such an honor to me, I have a way to duplicate pictures, and then I can you retouch them with paint so that they've had your brush on them. But you might say, "No, I don't want another one of him. I want one just like that." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
Now he's in your living room or he's in your garage, wherever he might be. When you pass him, I promise you'll stop for a second. You'll stop for a second, you'll look at him and kind of smile and say, "Hi, it's so nice to be with you." And then you move on about your day. I don't want my name on that picture to interrupt that process. I'll sign the back. So you want to know who did it there? I'm on the back. But if the picture can work for you, I would be so honored that it did. And I don't want any part of that other than just to place it in your hands. So that's my take on that. That kind of ran over me the other day. And boy, look, I mean, I'm getting such a kick. You can't sense it. If you took a mirror, you could. I am over your shoulder like Jesus is over mine. There I am. Just look over
Yeah.
your left shoulder.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, you can see it because you're in the camera. It's kind of
I
funny,
can
isn't
see
it?
it. Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. It's kind of fun. I like that. I'm very tickled that you
Absolutely.
did. Very tickled.
Like old little guardian angel here.
Oh, but you know, it's funny. One of the things I thought we could bounce around, um, is the sign of the times. It's really the bells are ringing. I mean, where first there was a thing on the news the other day about the climate changing, the glaciers changing, the water levels changing. We look at our country and we see the storms that are now coming through the Great Plains along Texas. And they're coming along Alabama, Mississippi, Panhandle of Florida, and then they're going north up into the Carolinas and up into. I'm very blessed. I live in Ocala, which is in the Florida as you're coming down, about in the middle. It's not coming down there. What a blessing. I'm out of harm's way at the moment. Who knows what tomorrow might bring, but I feel very blessed that we were here. And the scientists are commenting on it. You know, it's happened before. Oh my goodness. In the Sahara Desert, they're discovering things under the sand. It wasn't always sand.
No.
It was a rich land where the animal, you know, they kind of moved down, but and it doesn't happen overnight, thank God. However, I'll bet you've heard a story about the mastodon they found with buttercups in his stomach. That was instantaneous.
Yeah.
That was instantaneous, just boop. And I hope.
Well, the strangest one for me along those lines is something recent in science. In the Saudi desert, they actually found shipping harbors.
Oh my God!
In the Saudi desert.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up. You can.
Oh no.
You can see there are pictures of it.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy stuff.
The
world has. You know what's funny? What they say, Pete? Everything old is new again.
Yeah.
We're going to find that in terms of time.
Yeah, you know? It's going to be quite something. I hope that we miss the real ballistic moment, because I think it's going to be shattering. It's going to be catastrophic. I mean, they talk in the Revelations about losing at least a third of the world's population. That is either nuclear or global, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be quite catastrophic. Listen, I heard something. I don't know if you heard this on the news, but either it might come from Ukraine info or Russian info that Putin may be ill, very ill, deadly ill.
I've heard that. I've also heard that the nations are rallying against him, including the UN, including NATO.
Well,
so he is literally one man against the world right now.
Yeah.
And when you got that kind of pressure on your back, you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to, retreat and surrender, or you're going to go out with a bang.
Yeah, I hope is not his choice.
I mean, look what happened to Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi. They weren't so lucky,
No, but you know who would have gone out with a bang, and thank God he didn't, was Adolf Hitler. If he could have pushed a button and taken the world with him, he would have.
Yeah.
And this man is dangerous in doing what he's doing. He's a danger to himself.
Well, hear me out, folks, when we talk about this, because Pete is absolutely right on. Vladimir Putin is Hitler kind of crazy. He's got that kind of mindset. He's got, off the chart Hitler kind of crazy mindset. That's what you're dealing with. So understand that you're dealing with a kook. He's not just a madman. He's a kook, which means he's unstable. And you can't trust a guy that's unstable.
Right.
Right.
And it wouldn't be beyond him to, we look at the picture now. He's one of the 5 major votes in UN. The UN can't function with him in the chair he's in. So the UN has got to push Russia out of the UN, or he has to be replaced. Now,
that's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's no question this man is guilty of war crimes. Unquestionable. Sure. Now, the guilt of those war crimes calls for certainly his imprisonment. In certain tribunals, it would call for his death, but there might be a bargaining at a table with life imprisonment guaranteed. But if he knew, and he's staring at the world, he's staring at what he has done, I'm coming down. I'm not going to be able to take the Ukraine because at some point the world will stand beside the Ukraine and say no. I'll tell you what would put that whole thing to rest. And please, this is not from my lips to God's ear, but if those people that are holed up in the bottom of that steel mill are killed, the world won't stand for that. They'll say, you are a murderer. You're going to answer now. Now, if that comes about, where's he got to go? There's no place he can hide. Nope. He's done. He's finished. He'll pay the price, probably with his life. Now the question is, what does he do at that point?
Yeah.
That's a dangerous man.
Here's the thing. We could debate what would happen all day long, but, the question is, what would God do with somebody like that?
Well, God has usually left most of that with us. I mean, what did he do with Hitler? What did he do with Stalin? They died natural deaths. I ask the same question sometimes, and the answer seems to come back. Look, it's like I got a basket full of mice, and I put them on the table. I have promised you, mice, I'll stay out of it. You can kill each other, you can eat each other, or you can build houses, you can make cars, you can discover things about each other, but I promised you that I'll stay back. And he seems to have done that until the return of Jesus. That's when Jesus says, I will return and take my church out. As we've said before, the Christian community refers to that as the rapture. The rapture itself is not called the rapture in the New Testament, but in the translation of the Greek, there is a taking out, and that's when we've called that the rapture. But Jesus said, right, there will be trials, there will be tribulations, there will be hell on earth. But my people will not endure that. I will take them out. And that would be the rapture. To me, that would almost be as Putin's finger is going down to the button, Jesus will say, okay, right now, boom, we're out. Right. And the description is two people will be walking in the fields, one's gone and one's not.
Right.
So the other thing that you and I, in our loving, mischievous, backstreet way, is we're trying to get everybody say, hey, come on, guys, don't you want to go with us? Don't you want to be in that rapture? You don't want to be here for the next one, I'll tell you that. You don't want to see what's going to happen. So, there we are. How's your day?
Brother, it's been a long day. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
All I'll say, it's been a long day. All good.
How are you putting your house together and your life together?
One moment at a time these days.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on. Finally have a buyer for my mother's house.
Oh, that's good.
I lost my father in January, and she put the house up for sale pretty much immediately right after. It took us 7 weeks, if you can imagine it, 7 weeks to empty this house. Okay. So it's been on the market for about 2 months. And we've had 3 offers in the last 4 days. One higher than the next.
How many siblings do you have?
I had 2. I have one in heaven. I have one here.
How long did your family or they live in that house?
55 years.
So really, the family treasures and memories were in that house.
You might say that, but I don't look at it that way. That was a place. I don't hold emotional content in buildings.
Oh, no, not the building, but some of the things in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, everything happened there.
the
Absolutely.
treasures. You know what I'm saying? So
For
that's
sure.
what takes so long to empty out of going through them. And what do I sell? What do I
Oh
give
my God.
away? Yeah.
Well, my mother said to my wife and I, you know, give everything away. You know, let's let people take what they want, and they did. And a lot of people took a lot of stuff. Fortunately, because I could never bring that to my house. I don't have that kind of room here. So everybody grabbed what they wanted, and that took weeks and weeks. And long story short is the house was finally emptied and cleaned, and and now it's under contract to be sold. Got a buyer today. A young Puerto Rican family is going to make their next 40 or 50 years
Yeah.
in that house. So good for them.
Did you get a happy price where you feel like it was good?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Got a couple bucks more than what we were asking.
I'm happy. Happy for you.
Yeah. My mother would be happy.
Yeah, of course she is. She is
I'm
happy.
not getting any of it. I don't want any of it. I don't want any of it. Don't need it. Don't want it. That's my mother's money, so she can do what she wants with it. Other than that, what have you been doing last week?
Well, I'm in the process of kind of cleaning the house. I'm trying to realize some certain. I'm dinging, and I don't know what that's all about. I'm getting messages on the. I'm getting calls here on my phone. Let me turn this off. I don't want. Yeah, no more dinging. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ding on you. Um, my wife is going to Texas for like a 9-day visit. She hasn't been there for a year, and I'm really trying to get the house. I still haven't completely moved in and gotten everything done, and I will while she's gone. We have several. First of all, I want to get into our podcast very powerfully. You said that you have a three-parter coming up on Elvis, and I want
Mhm.
to add a one day a week Elvis tribute, a playful thing, maybe E and Me. I'm not sure. I'll do a song. I'll tell a story. I've got about 4 or 5 wonderful books about Elvis, and what I'll do is I'll read a chapter, and that week I'll tell you what the chapter's about.
There you go.
Maybe I'll get a guest here and there. That would be fun to do. But
Sure.
the movie is coming out, the 24th of June. The movie's going to be a
Yeah.
blockbuster. The movie is going to rattle cages.
It looks like they're going to go places other biopics on Elvis haven't gone.
Right.
Particularly, yeah. Well, in a couple of areas, they're really going to expose his relationship with Colonel Parker,
Yeah.
which needs to be exposed. He's either the greatest thing since sliced bread, or he's a villainous heel, depending on how you look at it.
I would say probably a combination of both. An
Yeah.
amazing man of marketing and opportunity, and a little ruthless. I know
Yeah.
of several stories where, for instance, a movie was dropped off for the colonel to read. He
Yeah.
got a new movie called Spin Out. See what you think. He leafs through and says, "Where's my 40,000 for reading this?" You know what I mean? And then
I
I
heard
also,
that.
yeah, and part of his deal with the Hilton was they picked up his gambling tab.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Elvis,
for a
and
while they did anyway. Elvis
yeah,
picked up the rest.
well, in his own way, but yeah, it was a sad
Oh, I
combination.
know that factually, Pete. I know that factually. Yeah. Um, I know that factually. Elvis paid a lot of his debts down.
Hang on, my battery's running low. That means I'm not.
Whoa.
Yeah, it means I'm not plugged in. Let me
No,
see.
we don't want your battery to poop out on you.
No, no, no. Hang on. Let me see it. That's it. Sure it is. The light went off. Good. Thank God. Uh.
There you go.
Oh no.
Oh Lord. Well, folks, we lost Pete. Let's see here. Looks like Pete Willcox just just lost his battery on his computer or his phone. So I am going to keep. I am not, by the way, Pete Willcox. I am Angelo. Just in case you're wondering who's this guy pretending to be Pete, just Angelo. Here I am. There we go. So Pete is where is he? Pete, are you there? Oh Lord, Peter. Nope, not back yet, folks. So how you guys been? Busy week for you? Busy week for me. Busy day for me today. Real busy day. Oh, looks like Pete just left out completely here. So it's just you and me, folks. This is Coffee with the King with Pete Willcox, but right now it's Angelo in the driver's seat. So if you're in the chat room, anybody wants to join us, have questions, here's Amelia. Amelia's here. Hey, long Monday. Yes, it's been a very long day. Been a very long day. How you doing, Amelia? Oh, there's Pete calling. Hold on, folks. Yes, Peter. Oh, I'm just telling everybody that you'll be back in a minute. Oh, I got you. No, you should be fine to boot up again. Talking to Pete on the phone. Got to get his computer going. All right, Pete. Well, I'll see you in a minute. Okay. That's old school, folks. There's Amelia. Oh, Amelia. By the way, Amelia in the chat room tonight is my co-host on What's the Buzz. She is Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. And where is she? There she is right there, Amelia Pitbull Chapman. And so, how was your day today, kid? Happy to be off. I'm doing, oh, here we go. Device not connected. Pete's trying to come back. Let me come over here and get Pete. Let's see if there's Peter.
You.
There's Pete.
I'm not hearing you, but I probably will. There, I'm back in. You hearing me?
Yes, sir. I hear you fine, Pete.
Hearing you, and I should. My speakers
Okay, so
are on. I'm plugged in. I see you.
All right, Peter, you got your sound in here, Pete?
Taking. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think, my friend. I'm not getting any noise. You're in the studio.
You hear nothing?
I'm not muted. Can you hear me? Nod your head.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me.
Yes.
I can't hear me or you. I can't hear you nod your head either.
Yes.
Well, I could turn off and come back on, but no, you got me, but I don't have you.
No, stay here. Stay here.
I'm not hearing you at all. Wait a minute. And I should. You're plugged into the speakers. Oh, wait. Oh, you know what? I pulled out the speaker plug. Dear God.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get this back in. Okay, I'm probably going to get you now.
Okay.
There you go,
Peter.
You know, I'm so sorry. Please accept my apology. I've been trying to do things out of my little work studio here, and I've got to get out of here and back on the kitchen table where I am. There's too many plugs, too many things. I'm not.
I got to help you set up a little studio for yourself.
Well, it is, but unfortunately, this is a recording studio to do my work in nightclubs, not what we're doing, and there's not enough outlets. And then the other one, I had the other thing with the picture of Jesus. I like the whole layout, and I'm not insane about this, and I'm not being able to present it like I want to, so I apologize.
Right. Well, no, it's okay. I kept everybody entertained for a moment.
Well, good.
I'm good that way.
I'm going to ask you, who's Mad Dog DeCipio?
That's me.
But were you a wrestler as a younger man?
Oh no, that's a persona that I used on television and radio.
Oh, I thought that it might because I thought maybe you
It's
were
it's
involved. Were you
my
ever physically a wrestler?
no. I'll tell you who the Mad Dog is. I was actually interviewed recently, but and thank you to Greg Gilbert, the hyena in Canada. I did an interview and he asked me, who are you? Who is the Mad Dog? And the Mad Dog is my homage to Wolfman Jack.
Oh, okay.
Wolfman was always my kind of radio hero,
Right.
you know, and people, say, well, especially when I had the darker beard, Pete, I looked like the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Um, but and I kind of sound like him a bit, when I do my thing. Because you've been very fortunate. You haven't been on the What's the Buzz podcast, not yet, anyway. But we will bring you there. What you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is a very subdued Angelo, because the Mad Dog's a crazy man. I had
Okay.
a couple of country music legends on the other night. Couple people you might know. Lacey J. Dalton was on the show with me, and I don't know if you know Lacey,
I know the
but
name, but I've never participated in any of her work. To tell you the truth, I'm
okay,
sorry to say,
yeah,
Lacey.
Lacey
Forgive me.
J. Dalton and Sylvia Hutton, better known just by her first name, Sylvia,
Okay.
country music legend, and they were on with me, and Lacey J. and Sylvia got to meet the Mad Dog. Amelia, who is in our chat room with us, can tell you. In fact, Amelia, why don't you just tell Pete what kind of night we had? Why don't you just chime in? And while we're waiting for her to do that, it was a very interesting evening, a very nice evening, and a fun time.
Oh,
We
good.
had a
I'm glad.
really great time.
Good for you.
Um, I have, I've actually got a couple people coming on that. Well, I'm going to have you on. We're going to talk Elvis. I have a guy that, in fact, Amelia's husband used to work at Graceland, and he's going to come on and talk with us, and maybe spill some secrets about what it's like behind the scenes at Graceland.
You know what's going to be funny? In August, my dear friend Sean and I are going to go to Memphis for Elvis Week.
Right?
Going to try to sit in on a couple of different performers there, pass out some cards, meet some people. So that will probably be a week that we will take off. But I got a feeling I'll have some fun stories when I come back from that one.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Did you ever have a chance in your travels, Pete, to meet a guy named Jimmy Ellis? They called him Orion.
Oh, I know of Jimmy. You know what's funny is I don't think I ever met him, and yet I think we exchanged not maybe politenesses, if you will. I can't think of the right word. But he
Right.
was a wonderful singer, wonderful entertainer, and had the Elvis thing going on to the utmost. He had a cute little gimmick that he sang with a mask on, and but he had a wonderful voice, and he died much too young. I'm
Yeah.
probably thinking Jimmy and I were probably the same age.
Yeah, he was actually killed. He owned a pawn shop in Atlanta, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and he was shot by two young
Oh,
thieves, basically. Yeah, he was. Him and his wife were both killed at gunpoint
oh my
during a
God, how
botch.
tragic!
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he and his wife were both killed at gunpoint by a couple of young, like 20-year-old kids. A botched robbery gone terribly bad, and Jimmy died on the scene, and his wife died at the hospital.
Oh, how
Um,
sad.
but Jimmy was a guy that
Oof.
could never get work um, under his own name, because he legitimately sang and sounded like Elvis, to the point where even on the Ralph Emery show, they told him to grow a mustache, Dye your hair a little gray, premature gray. Do something to make yourself look different. Because when you open your voice, we can't hide that. Because he sounded like Elvis and he spoke like Elvis. Funny
Right.
thing was, if you look at a picture of Jimmy Ellis and you look at a picture of Vernon Presley, they're the two that should be father and son because they look
That's
just like each
interesting.
other.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
I'm
interesting.
serious.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We're actually going to talk about that on our show. The other thing is there's no denying that Gladys was Elvis's mama, because if you looked at Elvis at 42 years of age and look at Gladys at 46, they're like two peas in a pod. He
Yeah,
looked just
very
like his
similar
mom.
eyes, mouth, the
Yeah,
darkness, the dark. He favored his mom,
yeah.
but
Particularly,
my wife
yeah.
spent a little time, not a lot, but a little time with Vernon, and says to me, A, he was such a lovely gentleman, but B, a rather handsome man as well.
Oh, yeah, Vernon. Yep,
Had
absolutely.
quite a look of it, but also it's funny. He had quite a look of his own, the mustache and the curly hair. It's almost amusing how kind of different he looks
Yeah,
than his son.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. There's and then where I'm going with this. Elvis in concert, Elvis introduced Vernon up on the stage.
yep, yep.
And if you see the two of them together, they're like day and night, the two, and his father
I
and
know they
son,
do, they do.
you know? But Jimmy Ellis was like a ringer for Vernon. He looked just like him.
Right, right. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jimmy, it's a shame too, because his career never really did take off. Um, a lot of people didn't hire him because he sounded so much like Elvis,
Right.
you know?
The Elvis phenomena is a rather curious one. The people love it.
Yeah.
The business people in between, the promoters and the entertainment directors, sometimes they get a rather snobby, haughty relationship. And, oh, we're not going to have an Elvis guy. Nobody wants that. You're very mistaken. There are
Yeah.
100,000 Elvis people in America making a living at it. Somebody
Yeah.
likes them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's got to be handled just in a certain way. And, it's so strange. It's like the career belongs to Elvis. Nobody kind of ethically and morally has the right to jump in completely. Paying a
Yeah.
tribute to him is a lovely thing to do. I understand that. And this whole thing about we're trying to keep his music and his legend alive, that borders on ridiculous. His
Yeah.
legacy and his music and who he is isn't going anywhere. He's as
Exactly.
American as Abraham Lincoln. He will be here
Absolutely.
forever. What you're doing is you're having fun with it. It's like, but nobody wants to kind of say that. I don't want to look like I'm
Right.
capitalizing on it. And I want to say, well, then stop doing it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
then
But
what's wrong with
that's a whole
making a
nother
couple of bucks?
conversation. You know what I mean?
I don't have a problem with somebody making a couple of dollars doing Elvis, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. There's a lot of people paying homage to him. That's great. If you can make some money doing it, that's even better. But I have a problem. You and I both have a problem with guys that cross that line where they start talking like him, they start, living like him, and calling their house Graceland too, and stupid
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
know what you
that.
mean. I know what you mean. It's
You
yeah.
know, there's a
And I
few
know where
guys
some
like
of that
that.
comes from too, to tell you the truth, is like he's so out of reach that sometimes it's like an actor on the job who never lets go of the actor while he's on the job. He wants to
Yeah,
keep it going. And that's what happens to some of these kids. They get something going and they've never had that recognition before, and they're wearing the suits and they're doing the hair,
yeah,
and it's exciting for them. They don't want to let go of the magic. It's a fine line of maturity and integrity that comes in, and not everybody is able able to do that. Not everybody is able to do that, but
Yeah. Well,
you
I'll
know,
tell you what. For the people that are Elvis devotees who love his music, yeah, like Pete's right. It's not going anywhere. Elvis ain't going
no,
anywhere.
the movie's going to
You
bring
know.
it back to you. Watch it explode again.
Oh my goodness, there are people that are going. A whole generation of people are going to discover who Elvis was.
They are, and,
Don't
and
forget, he's
Lisa
been
just wrote
gone. Here's the thing,
Lisa
Pete.
just wrote the kindest endorsement for that. I mean, on Facebook,
Oh
saying she
yeah,
sat through it twice. She said, "I cannot believe the honesty and the integrity with which
mm-hmm.
he embraced my father and
Yeah,
captured the essence of who he was, as I remember, and who I've been told.
yeah.
God love her. She lost him so young that
Well,
she
she
saw a
was what,
special
9 years
part of him,
old,
but
8?
you know what I mean. She missed some of the most dynamic parts of him because she was just so young. And
Yeah,
Priscilla said she sat through it with Jerry Schilling, and they looked at each other with tears in their eyes and said, "This is phenomenal." So we have
yeah.
quite an exciting movie in front of us to look at.
It's going to be quite controversial. I saw an advanced screening of the film. Um, the diehards are going to have a problem accepting that some of this stuff is factual. Um, I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to say anything. I will just tell you that the movie is highly, highly factual, based on data, based on documentation, based on verifiable documentation. And if you don't like what you see, you can't change history. It is what it is. So remember, Elvis said it himself. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else, baby. You know,
I mean, there's a picture I saw on Facebook not long ago. He says, sometimes I get real tired of being Elvis Presley."
he said that to Jerry Schilling on a couple of occasions.
Yeah,
They told him straight up,
yeah.
because you'll never know what it's like to be me. I get tired of being Elvis, and that alone gave fodder to all the rumors about Elvis being alive. You could play semantics. Elvis Presley, Elvis Aaron Presley, Elvis. Elvis was the guy on stage. Elvis Presley was the guy that lived at Graceland. You know, who are these guys? He's a multifaceted person. You have to be in show business. You've got to be. You've got to be.
And also to open the doors that he opened there, we never had a performer break the ground that he broke.
Of
And he
course.
was so young and so almost not ready for it. I mean, in some ways, he handled it like a genius with the educational background that he had and coming
Yeah.
from where he came. It's
Yeah.
amazing he did as well as he did, and
True.
especially losing the anchor that his mom represented to him. But I think it's funny. We mentioned him. I think Vernon gave him a lot more support than he gets credit for. He
Absolutely.
loved his dad,
Yes, he did. He
and
absolutely loved his father.
he would never want to do anything to embarrass him or hurt him.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Nope.
and he had some wonderful, loving, giving instincts. He was a young man who searched for the Lord, um,
Mm-hmm.
stumbled over his own earthly, carnal life. Don't we all? And
Sure.
never stopped giving and trying to be right. He was
Yeah.
a quite a special guy.
Absolutely. He sure was.
Yeah, he was a special guy. It's
It's
funny. I mean, I want to see my mom first off. I want to see my dad second off. I want to see Jesus third off. I hate to put
right.
him in third, but there you go. Number fourth, I want to see Elvis, and I want to say, hey, did I do a good job? Did you
Right.
like what I did? That would be nice. I try to do a decent job. And
Peter,
he's
why
going
don't you
to like
take us
this.
home? Why don't you take us home with a prayer, brother?
Oh, God bless you. I certainly will. Well, my friends out there, we have another week that we're watching the Ukrainians fight for their homes, their lives, show the world what honor is and integrity and strength and courage. My God, they are so filled with the love of God and for their homes and their people. We pray for them that God will reach in with the mercy of his hand and lift that country into a safety that they deserve, that they have worked for. I pray that those of you out there that are suffering your own personal conditions, that God's mercy and love will come upon you and give you a grace you don't even know where it came from, but you will know where it came from. You will know where it came from, because that kind of grace comes from one place. And Angelo, I hope that the house falls into place for you. It sounds like it has, and that your mom is comforted in this moment in time that she's going through. And I just hope this week is wonderful for everyone.
Amen. Amen and amen, brother. Well,
coffee next week, I promise. No
you
more
will see.
Gatorade.
There you go.
It does not ring of the truth. And also, I will thank you for that picture you put behind us. It's kind of a playful gimmick.
Yeah.
It's my new Facebook game, but
it's a great pick. I like it.
I kind of like it. I love the fact that I got Jesus over my shoulder, because I feel I do. If I do anything right, it's because he's with me.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything
well,
right.
I'll tell you what, the people are going to be blessed by your presence next week. They will not see my face around here. I'll be behind the scenes pushing the buttons.
It's always fun when Angelo pops in, don't you know? You remember, did you ever see a wonderful man of the cloth, Bishop Fulton J. Sheen?
I got to see Fulton J. Sheen. He came to my church.
He had a show called Life is Worth Living, and it was on the same time Milton Berle was on. And my mom and we used to watch that instead of Milton Berle. That's how I missed Elvis on the Milton Berle. I was watching Milton. Anyway, he'd write stuff on the blackboard, then he'd step away, and then he'd come back and the blackboard was clean. And he would say, "That's my angel, Skippy. He takes care of the blackboard for me." So I got a Skippy too. But I'm lucky. Yep. Occasionally, Skippy shows up.
Yeah. Take care, you guys. We'll see you next week on Having Coffee with the King. Bye.
God bless everybody.
I want to take a long walk with Jesus. Let him shine his light on me. I want to take a long walk with Jesus. A long walk with Jesus. Let him shine his love and light on me. I want to take a long, long walk with Jesus. Let him shine his